K. Michelle had everyone talking again, but this time, not because of her music, her shows, or her usual social media fire. No, this was different. Out of nowhere, whispers started spreading across the internet that the outspoken R&B diva had secretly tied the knot, leaving her fans stunned and her critics scrambling for answers. Screenshots, blurry photos, and half-heard conversations were flying everywhere. And when K. Michelle herself finally spoke up, her response was pure fire. "Don't worry about mine." That one line set the entire internet ablaze. The story didn't start with a wedding announcement. It started with a single tweet-on innocent post that showed a diamond band glinting under soft candlelight, followed by a heart emoji and a glass of champagne. At first, people thought it was just another flex. But when K. Michelle's friends began posting cryptic congratulations and flower emojis under her photos, things turned wild. Within hours, fan pages were running full investigations. Was she married? Who was the man? And why was she keeping it so quiet after years of being so open about her love life? Then came the trolls. Hundreds of them. Some accused her of rushing into another toxic relationship. Others mocked her for not making the marriage public, saying she was hiding because the man wasn't up to her level. That's when K. Michelle snapped. She jumped on live with that unmistakable fire in her eyes, leaned into the camera, and let the world know she was done with the noise. "Y'all stay pressed about a ring that ain't on your hand," she said. "I'm happy, I'm loved, and I'm not explaining a thing. Don't worry about mine." From that moment, social media exploded. Fans flooded her comments with heart emojis and congratulations, while haters doubled down, trying to dig up any clue about the mystery husband. Some claimed it was a secret rekindling with an ex. Others swore she'd fallen for someone entirely new, an industry executive who wanted to stay out of the spotlight. And through all of it, K. Michelle kept her silence, dropping only a few spicy posts that fueled the fire even more. One caption read simply, "Married energy." Another said, "Peace looks good on me." By the next morning, celebrity blogs were in chaos. One outlet claimed they had exclusive photos of the ceremony. Another swore there was no marriage at all, that K. Michelle was staging the rumors to promote an upcoming reality TV project. But insiders close to her told a very different story. According to one source, K. Michelle's wedding wasn't just real, it was emotional, intense, and filled with unexpected faces from her past. And if that wasn't enough, word spread that one of her former flames had tried to crash the celebration. The whispers grew louder, the screenshots got wilder, and the truth behind K. Michelle's secret wedding started looking more like a full-blown reality TV season than a simple love story. So, what really happened that night? Who's the mystery husband everyone's trying to unmask? And what made K. Michelle fire back with that bold message that shut the internet down? Buckle up, because this story dives deep into a whirlwind of love, betrayal, and the kind of drama only K. Michelle can deliver. The storm around K. Michelle's secret marriage began quietly, but by the time the sun set on that Sunday evening, it had turned into a full-scale internet meltdown. Every fan page, gossip blog, and entertainment podcast had her name in their titles, with everyone claiming to know the truth. Some said she had eloped in Atlanta, others whispered about a private ceremony in Memphis, but no one had seen the groom, and that mystery was driving people insane. For a woman as outspoken and fiery as K. Michelle, the sudden silence about her love life felt suspicious. She wasn't the type to hide. She'd always lived her truth loud, whether it got her praised or dragged. So when fans saw her post that sparkling ring, their curiosity wasn't just normal, it was personal. The first clues came from her Instagram stories. Clips of roses on a dinner table, champagne flutes clinking, and a blurred shot of two hands intertwined. There was no caption, no tag, just soft R&B music playing in the background. But for K. Michelle's fans, that was enough. Within minutes, the internet's unofficial detectives zoomed in on every pixel. One fan claimed the mystery man's hand had a tattoo identical to a music producer she had worked with months earlier. Another swore it was a completely new face. And right in the middle of that speculation, a comment appeared under her post. "Congrats, sis." The comment came from a close friend who never commented on rumors unless they were true. That one emoji threw gasoline on the fire. By the next morning, Twitter was a battlefield. Half of her fans were celebrating, posting throwback photos of K. Michelle's past heartbreaks and writing things like "finally she found real love." The other half accused her of playing games for attention. K is always chasing headlines, one troll wrote. Another chimed in, she'd be divorced by next year. And that's when K. Michelle decided she'd had enough. She went live, not to confirm or deny, but to remind everyone who she was. She appeared with her hair tied up, no makeup, just her raw self. "Let me say this real clear," she began, her voice sharp but calm. "Y'all been in my business for years. I give y'all music, I give y'all honesty, but my happiness, that's mine. If I'm married, I'm married. If I'm not, I'm still good. Stop worrying about mine." That one sentence, "Don't worry about mine," became an instant viral moment. Fans started tweeting it as a catchphrase, while trolls twisted it into meme. But deep down, it showed something bigger. Michelle wasn't just clapping back. She was drawing a line between her public persona and her private peace. Insiders close to her told blogs that she'd been through a deep transformation over the past year, spending more time away from the cameras and focusing on family. Some even claimed that the mystery man had been in her life for a long time, quietly supporting her while she rebuilt herself. Still, not everyone was happy about it. An ex from her past suddenly decided to speak out. He posted a cryptic message on his story, saying, "Some people forget who was there when nobody else was." It didn't take long for followers to tag Michelle under it, asking if the message was about her. She ignored it, but fans noticed something else. She unfollowed him right after. That small digital move sent a message louder than any statement. It told the world she was done revisiting old wounds. Behind the scenes, though, the story was even more tangled. According to a person claiming to be at the ceremony, the wedding wasn't planned months in advance, it was spontaneous. They described it as a spur-of-the-moment event that happened after a private dinner with close friends. The insider claimed that the groom, described as a man with power but not fame, surprised her with a ring after a heartfelt toast about loyalty and love. Purportedly, Michelle broke down in tears before saying yes. And right then, one of her best friends pulled out her phone and played one of Michelle's old songs about heartbreak. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. As touching as that sounds, not everyone believed it. One blog accused her of faking the story for an upcoming reality series reboot. Another insider from a rival outlet claimed there wasn't even a marriage license filed under her real name. "She's trolling y'all," they wrote, "and you're falling for it." But then a fan dropped what they called proof. It was a blurry video showing Michelle walking through a small chapel in a white dress, holding a bouquet. Though the footage was shaky, her voice was unmistakable. She was laughing, saying, "I can't believe this is happening." The internet lost its mind. Fan pages started dissecting every second of the clip, pointing out faces in the background. One of those faces allegedly belonged to a producer she'd collaborated with years ago, a man she once called her safe space. If true, it meant this secret wedding was actually a full-circle moment. But there was one major twist no one saw coming. Another man from her past, someone she'd had a very public fallout with, apparently tried to crash the event. According to multiple online posts, he showed up outside the venue demanding to speak with her, shouting that she owed him closure. He was turned away by security, but not before bystanders caught footage of him yelling her name. The video, of course, went viral within minutes, and just like that, the celebration turned into chaos. Instead of headlines about love, blogs ran with titles like Michelle's wedding turns messy as ex shows up uninvited. She stayed silent for 2 days after that. No posts, no statements, nothing. Her silence only fueled the speculation. Was the marriage real? Was she embarrassed? Was the drama too much for her new husband? Nobody knew. Until, on the third day, she returned to Instagram with a post that said, "Real love ain't for show. It's for peas." Beneath it, a single photo of her hand resting on top of someone else's, both wearing rings. That one image ended all arguments. There was no caption, no hashtags, but it told everyone what they needed to know. She was married, and she was happy. Or at least, that's how it looked from the outside. Because according to those close to her, things behind closed doors were already starting to shift. Some said the pressure of the public attention was putting strain on the relationship. Others claimed the groom wasn't comfortable with the sudden spotlight. And when Michelle's ex started hinting again online about unfinished business, people began wondering if this secret marriage was already facing its first storm. Still, no matter how loud the noise got, Michelle refused to fold. She showed up to an event days later, radiant and unbothered, with her wedding ring clearly visible. When paparazzi asked her about the rumors, she smiled and said, "Y'all don't learn, huh?" And that was it. That one sentence became another headline. Fans called her the Queen of Mystery. Blogs called her unpredictable. But those who truly followed her knew this wasn't about hiding, it was about protecting. Protecting a love that she'd waited too long to find, and a happiness she wasn't willing to let the world destroy. As she left that event, cameras flashing, one journalist shouted, "Who's the lucky man?" She turned slightly, smirked and replied, "The one who don't need to be famous." The clip hit every platform in minutes, and while the internet debated, laughed, and argued, Michelle simply went home, poured herself a glass of wine, and posted one more story, black screen with white letters. Everything doesn't need an audience. What she didn't know was that the real drama was just beginning, because someone close to her inner circle was about to leak something that would change everything. The leak came late on a Tuesday night, when social media was unusually quiet. A private voice note surfaced online, someone whispering that Michelle's secret husband wasn't just a mystery man but someone already linked to another woman. The audio was grainy, distorted, but the voice sounded familiar to fans who followed the singer's world closely. It belonged to a woman who used to be one of her background vocalists. The voice claimed she married him knowing he wasn't done with his past. Within hours, the recording spread like wildfire. Gossip pages reposted it, podcasts dissected every second, and the story took a darker turn. People began tagging Michelle nonstop, demanding answers. Was she really caught in another love triangle? Michelle didn't respond immediately, but insiders say she was furious. According to a friend who later spoke off-record, she was pacing around her house, scrolling through the chaos online, shaking her head. "They just can't let me be happy," she reportedly said. "I finally find peace, and here they come." That same night, she called out her team in a group chat, demanding to know who leaked the voice note. "If somebody from my circle sold this story," she said, "they better be ready to face me." One of her close friends tried calming her down, reminding her that it might just be internet noise. But Michelle wasn't hearing it. She felt betrayed. The next day she went live again, this time with raw emotion. "Every time I choose love, somebody got something to say," she told her viewers. "Y'all don't know what I've been through. Y'all don't know what I sacrificed. But I'll tell you one thing, I ain't no fool. So stop speaking on what you don't know." Her fans flooded the chat with heart emojis, encouraging her to ignore the hate. But the trolls were relentless. One comment stood out. "If he's so real, why you hiding him?" Michelle read it out loud, rolled her eyes, and replied, "Because I protect what's mine. Y'all love to see me hurt, but not this time." Her energy was defiant, but behind the scenes, the tension was real. The groom, still unnamed, was reportedly frustrated by the attention. He wasn't a celebrity, and according to people close to him, he didn't sign up for this kind of chaos. "He loves her," said one mutual acquaintance, "but he's not used to living under a microscope. The internet is cruel, and he's not built for it." As rumors grew, fans began to notice that Michelle had stopped tagging certain friends. The background vocalist who leaked the voice note, gone from her following list. And then, another blow hit. Screenshots surfaced showing private text messages allegedly between Michelle and her ex, exchanged just weeks before the supposed wedding. The screenshots were unverified, but that didn't stop them from spreading. They showed a conversation full of emotion, where she allegedly wrote, "I don't know if I'm ready to let go." The messages looked convincing enough to ignite chaos. Fans were divided. Some said they were fake, created by haters to ruin her peace. Others insisted they revealed the truth, that Michelle might still be emotionally tangled in her past. One gossip host summed it up on a live stream: "If those texts are real, this marriage was doomed before it began." But Michelle wasn't backing down. A day later, she posted a photo in a silk robe, holding a coffee mug that said "Wifey," with the caption, "Still glowing." It was a quiet but powerful clapback. No long explanation, no defense, just a visual statement that she was unbothered. Yet, her inner circle knew she was anything but calm. Friends close to her claimed that behind closed doors, the tension between her and her new husband was starting to show. They argued about the constant attention, the leaks, the fake stories. He wanted her to go offline completely, while she believed silence would only make the rumors louder. "You knew who I was when you married me," she allegedly told him one night. "This is my life. I can't disappear every time somebody lies." Their disagreement reportedly got heated, and for the first time since the wedding, she left their home and checked into a hotel for a few days. Paparazzi caught her arriving with sunglasses on, avoiding questions. Blogs immediately speculated that trouble had already hit the new marriage. She looked upset. One photographer said, "No ring on her finger." That single observation turned into headlines across every outlet. The image of her bare hand became a viral photo, and fans were once again torn. Was this just a misunderstanding? Or was Michelle's secret marriage already collapsing under pressure? Then came another twist. The same ex who had been throwing shade earlier decided to go live. He didn't mention names, but his words were calculated. "You can't build peace on confusion," he said. "Some people get married for headlines, not for love." The live instantly caught traction. Fans filled the comments with K. Michelle's name, and within minutes, his clip was being shared on every platform. K. Michelle didn't respond publicly, but sources claim she watched the entire thing, and something in her shifted. That night, she posted a message that seemed both vulnerable and sharp. "Funny how the ones who couldn't love you right always got the loudest opinions." It wasn't just another clapback, it was a message that hinted at deeper pain. Her fans rallied behind her, defending her across social media. But the situation had already spiraled. Even her family began getting pulled into the mix. A cousin reportedly told a blogger, "She's in love, but this whole thing's becoming toxic. She's trying to protect her marriage, but the pressure is getting ugly." As days passed, the silence between her and her husband became noticeable. They weren't seen together, no posts, no public appearances. And then, late one evening, she uploaded a cryptic black and white video. It showed her singing a slow acoustic version of one of her old songs about heartbreak. The caption read, "You don't know how heavy peace can feel when you fight for it." Fans interpreted it as a cry for help, while tabloids twisted it into confirmation that her marriage was falling apart. What made things worse was a leaked phone call that surfaced just hours later. The voice in the recording sounded like K. Michelle, arguing with a man. "I told you, I can't live like this," the voice said. "Every time I try to move forward, someone drags my name back." The man's voice, calm but frustrated, replied, "Maybe you love the attention more than you love peace." Though there was no proof it was real, the clip spread faster than any rumor before. Fans were heartbroken, trolls were thrilled, and entertainment pages declared it the beginning of the end. But here's where things took a turn. Instead of denying or confirming, K. Michelle dropped something completely unexpected, a short video montage showing unseen moments from her wedding. Soft music played as she and her husband exchanged rings in a small garden surrounded by candles. No words, no commentary, just love. It was intimate, beautiful, and emotional. The clip silenced every critic for a while. Even the harshest blogs called it unexpectedly touching. Her fans flooded her comments with joy, saying things like, "She really deserves this piece." For a brief moment, everything seemed calm again. She was smiling in new photos, posting about music and life, and ignoring the negativity. But underneath that calm surface, whispers continued. Someone inside her camp claimed the newlyweds were still struggling behind closed doors, that trust was fragile, and fame had made their bond unstable. As one insider put it, "Kay's heart is pure, but her world is chaos." Love can't breathe when everyone's watching. Still, even with all the noise, K. Michelle refused to give up. She started showing up at events again, this time with her husband by her side. The world finally got a glimpse of him, a tall man in a dark suit, quiet and reserved, standing proudly beside her. The photos went viral instantly, fans calling them powerful together. For the first time, the world saw the man who had captured K. Michelle's heart. And as they smiled for cameras, she leaned close to him and whispered something that only the microphones near them caught. "We ain't breaking for nobody." What the cameras didn't capture, though, was what happened once they left that red carpet. The conversation in the car, that changed everything. The ride home that night was silent at first. The kind of silence that feels heavier than words. Flashes from paparazzi still lingered in their eyes, and the noise of online commentary followed them like a ghost. He kept his hands on the wheel, focused, while she stared out the window, scrolling through her phone, watching clips from the event already trending. "You see this?" she asked softly, not looking up. "They already saying I paid you to stand next to me." His jaw tightened, but he didn't answer. She turned to him. "Say something." He sighed. "What do you want me to say, Kay? They talk about you every day. This isn't new." She threw her phone onto the seat. "It's new to me when it's about you." He pulled into their driveway, parked, and leaned back. "You wanted me here. You said we'd show the world we're fine. But I told you I'm not built for this circus." She crossed her arms, her voice sharp now. "And I told you, silence don't protect nobody. They'll make up a story either way." He looked at her for a long moment, then said, "Yeah, but when you answer every rumor, it's not protecting your peace either." The argument simmered in the air, neither one willing to bend. She grabbed her purse, stepped out of the car, and slammed the door. Inside the house, the atmosphere was thick. Candles half burned, glasses of wine untouched. The remains of a celebration that now felt distant. K. Michelle kicked off her heels, pacing through the living room, muttering to herself, "Protect your peace. protect your peace, everybody say that till it's their name on every blog. Her husband followed her in, calmer now. K. I'm not your enemy. I'm just asking you to stop giving them fuel. She stopped pacing, turned to him, and said quietly, you don't get it. They already built their fire. I'm just making sure I don't burn alone. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. Then, her phone buzzed again. She hesitated before picking it up. It was a message from her manager. TMZ wants a statement. They say they've got footage from your hotel stay last week. Her eyes widened. They what? She scrolled down, reading the message twice. Somebody's selling our business, she whispered. Her husband stepped closer. You said only your team knew where you were. She nodded slowly. Then somebody on my team just sold me out. The next morning, TMZ dropped the footage grainy clips showing K. Michelle walking into a hotel lobby, wearing a hoodie and mask, with no ring visible. The headline screamed, Trouble in Paradise. K. Michelle spotted solo amid marriage meltdown. The comments were brutal. Fans tried defending her, but the trolls outnumbered them. Called it, one wrote, never lasts with her, another added, it wasn't the first time she'd been dragged online, but this time, it hit differently. She wasn't angry, she was tired. Her best friend, Tamara, showed up at her door that afternoon. Girl, you need to breathe, Tamara said, hugging her tight. You can't fight every rumor. K. Michelle let out a bitter laugh. But I can't let them destroy what I built either. Tamara shook her head. You built more than headlines. K. You built resilience. Don't lose it now. They sat in silence for a while before Tamara whispered, You sure about him? K. Michelle looked away. I was. Later that night, another storm hit. A podcast host claimed to have exclusive messages from someone close to K. Michelle's husband, messages suggesting he'd been in contact with an ex during their relationship. Screenshots flooded social media again. The supposed texts read, I still think about you sometimes, and things with her are complicated. There was no proof they were real, but they spread faster than truth ever could. K. Michelle's fans demanded she speak up. Trolls mocked her. And through it all, her husband stayed quiet. She confronted him as soon as he walked through the door. You tell me right now if any of that's true. His face was pale, tired. No, it's not, he said. Then why you quiet? She snapped. Because every time I open my mouth, it makes it worse. He shouted back. You want me to defend myself to strangers? They'll twist it no matter what I say. She stepped closer, her eyes blazing. You're supposed to defend me. He looked at her for a long time before whispering, And who's defending me? The words hit her harder than she expected. She turned away, her voice trembling now. I've spent my whole life fighting to be seen, and now you want me to disappear. He reached for her hand, but she pulled back. I just want peace, he said softly. You can't have peace with a storm, she replied. And I am the storm. The next few days were a blur of damage control. Her team issued a vague statement denying the rumors, but it did little to calm the frenzy. Interviews she had scheduled were suddenly canceled due to personal matters. Even brands started hesitating to renew partnerships. She stayed off social media, posting nothing but one quote on her story. Silence doesn't mean surrender. Her fans read it as a sign of strength, but those close to her knew it was exhaustion. Tamara visited again, finding her sitting in her studio, surrounded by notebooks. You writing new music already? Tamara asked. K. Michelle nodded. Yeah. Pain always pays the bills. She played a few chords on the piano and began humming. Her voice cracked halfway through, but she didn't stop. The lyrics were raw, unfiltered, about trust, about love that feels like a mirror breaking, about fighting to keep something that might already be gone. Tamara watched quietly, tears in her eyes. This one's gonna hurt people, she said. K. Michelle smiled faintly. Good. They should feel something. Meanwhile, her husband moved out temporarily, needing space to breathe. Tabloids caught wind of it immediately. Exclusive. K. Michelle's secret husband leaves shared home amid growing tension. Every outlet ran with it. Some fans blamed him. Others blamed her. One post read, She's too strong for any man to handle. While another cruelly said, Maybe she just can't be happy. The narrative twisted until even the truth couldn't survive. One night, unable to sleep, she went live again. It was nearly 3 a.m. She spoke softly, her tone different this time, not angry, not defensive, just weary. I've learned that happiness ain't loud, she said. It's quiet, it's fragile, and sometimes, when you love somebody, you gotta let them find their peace even if it hurts you. Thousands watched, leaving hearts and crying emojis in the chat. One fan commented, We love you, K. She smiled faintly and whispered, Love y'all too. but right now, I'm loving me first." Then she ended the live. The next morning, the clip was everywhere again, but this time, the tone was different. People weren't mocking her, they were empathizing. Her vulnerability hit hard. Radio hosts discussed her bravery, fans posted messages of support. And for the first time in weeks, the conversation shifted. But even as the public softened, Michelle knew one truth: this was far from over. Because while she was finally learning to protect her peace, someone from her past wasn't done using her name for headlines. And what that person did next would ignite the biggest scandal of her career. And just when everyone thought the storm had calmed, it flared up again like gasoline on a dying flame. People started posting unseen clips from old seasons, pointing out how Kirk and Mendices had always been at odds beneath their polite smiles. There were subtle jabs, silent looks, and awkward pauses that fans now viewed as warning signs. Even castmates began to whisper that the two men had never truly been friends. That production had often stepped in to edit out their clashes, and when those whispers reached the public, the internet turned wild. Everyone wanted receipts, everyone wanted proof, and within hours, both men's pasts were dragged back into the light. Kirk's history of cheating scandals resurfaced, while Mendices was haunted by his legal troubles once more. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was a full-blown reputation collapse. Producers stayed silent, pretending to stay neutral, but the leaks told a different story. Someone from inside had spilled everything to a gossip blogger known for taking down TV personalities. And the details were brutal. Allegedly, Kirk had confronted Mendices over money disputes during filming, accusing him of trying to undercut him with brand deals. Witnesses claimed that fight nearly turned physical before security intervened. And when that story hit the blogs, public opinion flipped instantly. Viewers who once laughed at their antics now began to see the show as toxic. Brands that had once partnered with both men started pulling back, distancing themselves from the mess. Mendices, furious at being painted as the villain, went live to clear his name, pacing in his living room with fire in his voice. He said he had nothing to hide, that people were twisting facts just to get clicks, and that he was tired of carrying the weight of reality TV's fakery. But Kirk didn't stay quiet either. He posted cryptic captions about betrayal and snakes in his circle, fueling speculation that his anger was aimed straight at Mendices. Fans picked sides immediately. Timelines split in half, with Team Kirk and Team Mendices trending for days. Their wives, Rashida and Yandi, tried to play peacemakers at first, posting calm messages about loyalty and forgiveness, but even they couldn't avoid getting pulled into the crossfire. One old clip of Rashida shading Yandi on set went viral again, and suddenly the drama was no longer between the men. It became a family feud. By then, VH1 executives were reportedly in panic mode. Insiders said they'd already been under pressure from sponsors over declining ratings. And this scandal might have been the final nail in the coffin. Meetings were held behind closed doors, statements drafted but never released. The show's entire brand, the idea of messy love, raw emotions, and real-life redemption, was being questioned by its own audience. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get any worse, a new rumor hit the blogs. Kirk and Mendices had been blacklisted by multiple production companies. The claim was that no major network wanted to touch them now, not after all this chaos. Fans were stunned. Two men who had once been cornerstones of the love and hip-hop empire were now being treated like liabilities. And what made it sting even more was that both had been planning new ventures. Kirk was supposedly working on a spin-off with Rashida about their family business, while Mendices had been pitching a mentorship show for young fathers. But after the blacklist talk spread, those doors began to close one by one. Calls went unanswered, contracts were under review, and meetings were quietly cancelled. Even their publicists seemed to retreat, refusing to comment. People close to the situation described both men as frustrated and paranoid, each blaming the other for the fallout. Kirk reportedly believed Mendices' live rant had triggered the blacklist, while Mendices thought Kirk's public shade made him look untrustworthy to producers. And in the middle of all that tension, fans kept digging. Old audio recordings, private DMs, even text screenshots started surfacing. Most of them unverified, but damaging enough to deepen the scandal. Every new leak reignited the fire. And when Kirk finally broke his silence again, he did it with an emotional video that showed a side of him fans rarely saw. His voice cracked as he talked about being loyal to the game, about how reality TV had given him everything but taken just as much. He said he wasn't bitter, just disappointed, and that if the industry wanted him gone, he'd leave on his own terms. It was raw, vulnerable, and heartbreaking. But before people could fully process that, Mendices responded with his own video, one that was far less emotional and much more direct. He said he wasn't going anywhere, blacklist or not, because no one could block what God had planned. He hinted that he was already in talks with another streaming platform, teasing that a real reality show was coming soon, one without scripts, without manipulation, and without fake friendships. His followers erupted in support, calling him a survivor, while Kirk's fans accused him of being a hypocrite. The digital war that followed was chaotic. Edits of their rival videos went viral, memes flooded the internet, and celebrities from the franchise started taking sides. The love and hip-hop world had never felt more divided. By that point, blogs were already predicting the end of an era. Insiders claimed that the network had officially removed both Kirk and Mendices from upcoming One producer allegedly called them too risky, saying that no storyline was worth the public backlash anymore. It was a stunning fall from grace for two men who once defined the franchise. And yet, beneath the chaos, there was something tragic about it all. Both had fought to turn their pasts into redemption arcs. Both had built families and careers on the promise of second chances. And now both were being erased by the same system that had once profited off their pain. The cameras had stopped rolling, but the drama had only just begun. Behind the scenes, the tension wasn't just emotional, it was financial. Kirk and Mendices had built entire brands around their reality TV fame, with merchandise, appearances, and club deals that depended on staying visible. Once those bookings slowed down, the panic set in. Kirk reportedly started making calls to producers he'd known for years, trying to find out who had leaked the blacklist rumor. Nobody gave him a straight answer. Everyone was protecting their own name. Mendices, on the other hand, played it cool in public, but was said to be furious in private. Friends claimed he felt betrayed not only by the industry but by people he once called family. The two men stopped following each other online, a quiet confirmation that whatever friendship they had left was gone. And then came the biggest blow. VH1 quietly removed both their profiles from the show's promotional site. No announcement, no statement, just gone overnight. Fans noticed instantly. Hashtags started flooding timelines. Hashtag bring back Kirk, hashtag justice for men, DC. But the network didn't budge. To them, the controversy had become too unpredictable. Every move Kirk or Mendices made seemed to spark another wave of online chaos. The producers were done trying to contain it. That's when Rashida and Yandi stepped in again. Both women had tried to stay graceful throughout the ordeal, but even they couldn't hide their frustration anymore. Rashida shared a message about standing tall when doors close, while Yandi posted a quote about real ones being tested when fakes fall away. Neither named names, but everyone knew who they were talking about. Gossip blogs turned their words into headlines, spinning theories that the wives were secretly feuding too. The internet ate it up. Live streams, reaction videos, and podcasts started dissecting every sentence, every emoji, every caption. It was reality TV without the cameras, raw, messy, and far more personal. Meanwhile, industry insiders started revealing the darker side of what really went down. Apparently, a leaked email thread from production had surfaced, showing discussions about replacing Kirk and Mendices with new faces. The tone of those emails shocked fans. One producer reportedly wrote that the franchise needed fresh drama that isn't tied to old reputations. Another said, the Frost and Harris families had their run, it's time for new stories. When that leak spread, the backlash was explosive. Fans accused the network of using Kirk and Mendices for years and then discarding them like they were disposable. It became a conversation about loyalty, race, and exploitation in reality television. People began asking hard questions. Why did the network encourage chaos on camera but punish it when it spilled into real life? Why were the same men who helped build the brand now being treated like liabilities? Kirk's supporters launched petitions demanding the network release a statement, while Mendices' followers began pushing hashtags calling for independent shows. And, slowly, both men started to lean into that idea. Whispers began that they were talking again, not as friends but as businessmen. Someone close to them revealed they'd had a private meeting to discuss producing their own digital series. The concept was simple: two men who had survived the highs and lows of reality fame, sitting down to tell their truth. The title floating around online was The Blacklist, a direct shot at the system that had cast them out. When word of that leaked, it reignited the buzz. Fans who'd turned away were suddenly back, curious to see if the two rivals would actually reunite. But nothing was confirmed yet, and both Kirk and Mendices played coy when asked. Kirk would just say, "I'm working," while Mendices teased, "Big things coming." Even without confirmation, the possibility of their comeback became its own kind of drama. Everyone wanted to know, would they bury the hatchet for business, Or would it all explode again? The tension around that question was magnetic, but beneath the rumors, both men were fighting their own personal battles. Kirk was reportedly struggling to rebuild his image with brands, trying to prove he wasn't just the cheater husband people remembered from early seasons. He started mentoring young artists, showing up at community events, even doing motivational talks about growth and responsibility. It was clear he was trying to pivot his story. Mendices, meanwhile, began working more with nonprofits, focusing on youth programs and advocating for men re-entering society after incarceration. He was using his platform for something real, something positive. Yet, despite those efforts, the label of being blacklisted followed them everywhere. Producers avoided their calls, casting directors hesitated, and even some former castmates distanced themselves to protect their own careers. It was like they'd become ghosts in the industry they helped shape. The irony wasn't lost on fans. Reality TV had built them up just to erase them when things got inconvenient. And as the months passed, the silence from VH1 became more telling. The network moved on with new seasons, new couples, and fresh scandals. The name Kirk Frost was barely mentioned, and Mendices' face disappeared from promos. Still, neither man gave up. Behind closed doors, they were planning something bigger than any reunion special or spin-off. Those close to them said the project wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming their voices. They wanted to show the world who they were beyond the edits, beyond the headlines, beyond the manipulation. One late-night interview hinted at it. Mendices looked straight into the camera and said, "They tried to write my ending, but I'm the author now." It sent chills through fans who remembered how far he'd come. And Kirk, not long after, posted a video of himself in a studio, surrounded by cameras and lights, with the caption, "It's time to talk." Everyone knew what that meant, whether the industry was ready or not. Kirk and Mendices were about to take control of their story, and, this time, no one could cut the scene. The internet went into overdrive when snippets of that time to talk video leaked. Fans dissected every frame, every gesture, every word. Some noticed Kirk's clenched jaw, others Mendices' calm yet intense stare. Speculation exploded. Were they finally ready to reconcile, or was this the prelude to the ultimate showdown? Behind the scenes, sources claim the two men had agreed on one ground rule: no scripts, no producers, no censorship. This was going to be raw, unfiltered, and entirely their narrative. The revelation sent shockwaves through the reality TV world. Journalists scrambled to get comments, former castmates whispered on podcasts, and social media algorithms worked overtime, promoting every teaser clip that emerged. As the planned digital series started taking shape, another complication arose. The wives Rushida and Yandi were hesitant. Insiders said they supported their husbands, but worried about old wounds reopening in public. They knew fans would dissect every interaction, every glance, every word, turning private pain into public spectacle. "We're not trying to stop them," one friend of Yandi told a blogger, "but this is a lot. The world isn't kind to men in these situations." Meanwhile, Kirk and Mendices remained resolute. In private conversations, they reportedly laughed off the blacklist, calling it a badge of honor. According to insiders, Mendices even said, "If they thought cutting us out would end us, they're wrong." Kirk added, "We've been through worse than tweets and headlines. Let them watch." The build-up to the series premiere became its own story. Clips were leaked, some intentionally, some accidentally. One early scene showed Kirk walking into a room, turning to Mendices, and saying, "So, this is where we lay it all out." The camera caught Mendices, smirking, replying, "Everything you think you know, you don't." Fans went wild. Speculation on who would throw the first real accusation, who would break down emotionally, who would finally speak their truth dominated every timeline. Podcasts ran countdowns, live streams predicted outcomes, and entertainment bloggers published who's winning lists. But the real drama wasn't just on camera. Behind the scenes, production struggles emerged. The men wanted creative control, but technical issues, budget limits, and distribution negotiations slowed the process. Insiders claim heated debates erupted over which platform to release the series on. Kirk wanted a mainstream streaming site for maximum exposure. Mendices wanted a smaller, independent platform where they could truly own the narrative. Emails leaked online showed tension between the two camps, fans reading lines like, "He doesn't get it, we need control, and if we compromise, the story dies." Even their closest allies were forced to pick sides. Some supported Kirk's push for visibility, while others agreed with Mendices' caution. Amid all this, a new scandal erupted. An anonymous source sent exclusive texts to a popular gossip site claiming Kirk had secretly been negotiating with a competitor network to start his own reality show. Leaving Mendices out, the messages were unverified, but the blogs didn't care. Headlines screamed betrayal, fans debated loyalty, and the series' tension was now mirrored in real life. Kirk denied the claims publicly, calling them fake news and internet lies, while Mendices stayed quiet, choosing not to fan the flames. The silence, however, only added fuel to the fire, and social media erupted with theories, memes, and dramatic commentary. Meanwhile, the planned premiere date loomed closer. Insiders say both men were exhausted, emotionally and mentally, but committed. Rehearsal footage leaked showing long, heated discussions, tears, laughter, and moments of vulnerability rarely seen in reality TV. One clip captured Kirk whispering, "I don't want history to erase us." While Mendices responded, "Then let's make it impossible to ignore." That single line became the most shared quote of the week, with fans calling it legendary and iconic. Anticipation reached fever pitch. Then, just days before the premiere, another twist. A former castmate released an unexpected audio recording. In it, Kirk and Mendices were caught discussing sensitive personal moments, arguments, betrayals, even fears about public perception. The snippet went viral immediately. Fans were divided again. Some praised the honesty, others criticized them for tabloids called it too much truth, while podcast hosts speculated about whether it would affect viewer reception. Despite the chaos, both men remained focused. The message was clear. They were determined to reclaim their narrative, regardless of public opinion or industry push. Finally, the premiere night arrived. The digital series dropped with an unexpected twist. It opened with Kirk and Mendices sitting across from each other in silence, letting the tension speak for itself. Viewers were immediately captivated. The show wasn't just a reality series, it was therapy, confession, and confrontation rolled into one. Clips from past seasons were used sparingly, letting their current interactions drive the story. Moments of apology, explanation, and even laughter punctuated the series. Fans who had once picked sides now found themselves empathizing with both men. The premiere was streamed millions of times within hours, trending worldwide, and every social media platform exploded with commentary. Hashtags like #KirkandMendices, #TheBlacklist, and #RawTruth dominated. But the ultimate surprise came at the end of episode 1. As the camera panned out, Kirk leaned back and said quietly, almost to himself, "We're just getting started." Mendices nodded, staring into the distance. "This is our story, no one else's." Viewers were left on the edge, hungry for more, knowing the drama, betrayal, and redemption weren't finished, they were just beginning. And now, as you sit here watching this whirlwind unfold, it's clear that the story of Michelle Kirk and Mendices isn't just another reality TV saga. It's a living, breathing drama that pulls you in and refuses to let go. You've seen betrayals, leaks, emotional confrontations, and the relentless pressure of public scrutiny. But the truth is, none of it is over yet. The internet is still buzzing, fans are still choosing sides, and the next twist could come at any moment. This is why your voice matters. Your comments, your reactions, and your opinions are part of the conversation, shaping how stories like these are remembered, retold, and discussed. Do you think Michelle made the right decision, standing up to the trolls and protecting her marriage? Do you believe Kirk and Mendices will survive the blacklist and reclaim their place in reality TV? Your thoughts, your speculation, and your passion fuel the drama as much as the events themselves. Don't underestimate the power of engagement. Every like, every comment, every share sends a message that you're invested in the story. It shows that people care, that the lives and choices of these celebrities impact real audiences in very real ways. Think about it. Without fans commenting, reacting, and debating, the networks might not even notice the magnitude of public interest. Your input can influence producers, cast decisions, and even future storylines. This is your chance to be part of the unfolding narrative. The story doesn't end when the camera stops rolling. It continues online, in forums, in comment sections, and in conversations around the world. The drama lives in the details, and the details live in your discussion. Engage with intention. Consider the emotional stakes for the people involved. Michelle is navigating not just fame, but private pain in full view of millions. Kirk and Mendices are dealing with betrayal, career setbacks, and personal rivalry under a spotlight that refuses to dim. Your comments can celebrate resilience, call out injustice, or even offer perspectives that others might overlook. Think critically about the story, its twists, and its turns. Highlight moments that matter to you. Did you feel for K. Michelle when the trolls surfaced the leaked texts? Did you admire Mendices for staying silent in the face of relentless speculation? Did you empathize with Kirk as he struggled to maintain control over his narrative while under attack from every direction? Reflecting on these moments in your comments adds depth to the discussion and shapes the way the story is perceived. Sharing this video matters too. Every share extends the reach of the drama and brings more eyes to the unfolding saga. Whether it's with friends who follow celebrity news, family members who love reality TV, or online communities that thrive on gossip, your shares amplify the conversation. The more people engage, the more impact the story has. Think of it as being part of a live audience for a performance that doesn't end when the credits roll. Your participation ensures that the drama is alive, vibrant, and evolving. Liking the video is another simple but powerful way to engage. It signals that you're paying attention, that you care about what unfolds next, and that you support content that delivers real, high-stakes entertainment. Every like helps the video reach more people, increases visibility, and ensures that future updates about K. Michelle, Kirk, and Mendices get the attention they deserve. It's a small action with big consequences in the world of digital entertainment. The more likes, the more momentum, and the more chance we get to see exclusive developments, interviews, and behind-the-scenes details that might otherwise stay hidden. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing ensures you're part of a community that receives updates immediately, giving you first access to breaking news, leaked content, and the next chapters in this saga. Imagine being among the first to know about a surprise twist, a shocking revelation, or an emotional confession before the rest of the world even hears about it. Subscribing connects you to the pulse of the story, making you an active participant rather than a passive observer. It's not just about notifications. It's about being part of the cultural conversation as it happens, shaping perceptions, and reacting in real time. Comment below with your predictions. What do you think will happen next? Will K. Michelle and her husband survive the constant scrutiny and protect their love, or will the trolls continue to destabilize their peace? Will Kirk and Mendices find a way to reclaim their careers and rebuild their reputations? Or has the blacklist permanently changed the landscape? Your theories, insights, and speculations fuel the conversation, keeping the story alive and dynamic. Don't hold back, express your opinions passionately, support your favorites, call out hypocrisy, and challenge narratives. Every thoughtful, honest comment contributes to a larger understanding of the story and invites discussion that can be just as dramatic as the events themselves. Remember, your engagement has real impact. In the world of celebrity, online attention can make or break opportunities, shape public perception, and influence decisions made behind closed doors. By participating, you're part of a living, breathing ecosystem that shapes the entertainment industry. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription ensures that stories like K. Michelle's and the fallout with Kirk and Mendices continue to matter, continue to spark conversation, and continue to evolve. Your voice is more powerful than you think, and right now, it's part of a narrative that millions of people are watching unfold. So take action. Like this video to show your support, comment to make your voice heard, share to spread the drama, and subscribe to stay connected to every twist, turn, and revelation. Don't just watch, participate. Be part of the story, influence the narrative, and make your presence felt in a saga that refuses to be ignored. Your engagement matters more than you realize. The drama is alive, and it's waiting for your response. Now it's your turn. Join the conversation, defend your favorites, challenge the haters, and let the world know what you think about K. Michelle, Kirk, and Mendices. Be bold, be vocal, and remember, you are part of this story, and the story isn't over until you make your voice count.